Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an edition of Drizzle Sports. I've not done a show in a very long time, but I wanted an opportunity to update people on sports and have a. Hang on, we gotta move the camera here. Okay. Okay, we're still not where we want to be. We're gonna have to move the camera closer. There we go. Okay. So, let's start with the NBA Finals. We get the same crappy teams again with the Cavs and Warriors. Cheaters! Big time if you want my opinion. Because in the offseason, they just blew money on basically bringing in star players again. And then basically taking advantage of the trade deadline by basically getting players from other teams. We won't mention, but Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett wannabe as far as I'm concerned. And Kevin Love is nothing to brag about for the Cavs. I don't think he's averaging more than 19 or 18 points a game. I don't really care, frankly. So we have to deal with that thing again with the Cavs and Warriors again. Oh, I wish we had different teams. I just don't think it's fair for teams to be blowing money on bringing other star players in and just acting like they're the Miami Heat, basically, from a few years ago. I really thought Boston or the Wizards were going to do something, honestly, in the Eastern Conference. That didn't happen, though. Basically, LeBron James just took over and said, "This is my town," basically, my division, my league, pretty much just beat everybody. So we have to deal with that whole crap again. So Toronto didn't even do anything against them. They pretty much just did nothing. Anyways, Western Conference, I thought for sure that the Spurs were going to do something, or the Rockets. I think the Rockets would have been a better matchup, honestly, against the Cavs, or the Spurs. I don't know. I'm not too keen on the Warriors. I don't think that they're as good as they act like they are. Pretty much it's just Steph Curry throwing up shots and Durant basically dunking. I don't really see any players on their bench that just blow me away by any means. So, anyways, so we got to put up with that. I don't know. I don't really care who wins the NBA Finals. Honestly, I don't like either team, but I'd have to say Golden State if you want me to be honest. I know that I don't like them, but I just don't want LeBron winning another championship. I'm so tired and sick of that. I don't know. I don't like the Jordan comparisons either. I don't know. There was only one Michael Jordan, and he ain't Michael Jordan. No way. No way in hell is he ever gonna be Michael Jordan. I don't care. That's a whole nother subject that I might get into later on. But yeah, he's not Michael Jordan. No, no way. So, um, then we go into the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs, which was very interesting. We had a lot of upsets. Proud of a lot of teams that came out of Canada this year. The Senators, Maple Leafs, Oilers, definitely. Oilers went deep into the playoffs this year. I was really surprised. So did the Senators. Um, so yeah, I think that was good for hockey because it shows that the international flavor is just everywhere in the NHL. And plus, obviously, the up and coming next season, we're gonna get a whole new franchise, which is the Golden Knights for Las Vegas. So we're going to have that whole thing going on too. So I think that that's good for the league. We're going to get some more competition. Um, and what is your opinion about the Stanley Cup finals? The matchup that we get between the Predators and the Pens. Um, I kind of like the Penguins myself, but I also respect the whole underdog thing about the Predators because this is their first, uh, crack at a championship, and you don't want to take them lightly. They're a pretty decent team. They've got some good players on their team, and they could do some damage against the Penguins. So, um, let's go to Major League Baseball. We've had a really crazy up and down first part of the 2 months into the season so far, um, and basically, if you're a Yankees fan, you should be happy because they're winning now, underneath a bunch of younger players. And they retired Derek Jeter's number. I think that was really good that they did that. They invited him to a home game and honored him. And they should because he was in the '90s was pretty much one of their best players. That's why they won so many World Series throughout his career. So, and we've had a lot of interesting teams that were good last year that have kind of fallen off the place, out of their place. I mean, I'm a diehard Cubs fan, but I have to be honest, they're not anything to brag about this year. They're pretty bad. They don't. They're not good at hitting right now. The division is catching up. I mean, you got teams like the Cardinals who are decent. Yeah, I mean the Mets aren't bad. Yeah, I mean there's some good teams out there right now that are pushing the boundaries in baseball, and I think it's a whole new generation of hitters and catchers, and I think it could be an interesting playoff this year. We don't really know what's happening with the trade deadline either because that's coming up as well in a month or two. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens with that. Um, so let's get into NFL. I thought the draft honestly was so complicated. I mean, there was so many draft picks where you just scratch your head and you're like, really? Why would you waste that amount of money on a player that's not even that proven? Um, Speaking of my Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, uh, and all these other players that are from like smaller universities don't even know why. Ryan Pace, like, what are you doing, dude? Seriously? Are you like smoking crack or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm not getting Bears management right now. It's horrible. Um, Frankly, I would have taken Deshaun Watson or somebody decent. Corey Davis, even from Western Michigan. Somebody, for God's sakes. I mean, your receiving core is not very good right now. Minnesota had an interesting draft, and they've got some players in free agency that should kind of help them out. I think the Packers did the same thing. The Lions had a decent draft, and so I think that division should be pretty interesting. I think the Broncos did a good job. The Browns are trying to improve. Definitely the Titans are being. They should be in that area because they've also upgraded their receiving core and running backs, and to help Marcus Mariota out, I think that's a good idea. He's a great quarterback. I just think he needs the right weapons around him. I felt like the Colts had a good draft. Steelers did. Cowboys, Eagles, pretty much same. Not anything to brag about, but they did get some people to help them out. I think the free agency thing has been kind of slow, honestly, so far. Like, some players are still on the board where you're like, really? Why are they still out there? Darrell Revis, honestly, I would have thought some team would have signed him put him at safety or something. Colin Kaepernick obviously is a free agent. Still, we don't really know where he's going or if he's going anywhere at this point. Um, Frankly, that's what I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't that? Why didn't the Bears call him? Um, you know, and give him an opportunity. I think that would have been a perfect fit for him in Chicago. Um, because he's a young player, they know how to develop quarterbacks. I feel like that would have been a smart decision by the Bears, but they didn't do it. They got a quarterback who's only played 13 or 14 games in his whole career. Wow. Oh my God, that's a wow. Anyways, ugh. So that's where the NFL is right now. Oh yeah, and Josh Gordon tried to get himself reinstated even after the guy has been through treatment and he's done everything that the league told him to do, and you still don't give the guy an opportunity. I don't really agree with that one bit. Um, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, the guy's done everything you're supposed to do, and then that happens, and then there's more about the Aaron Hernandez thing. Apparently, there's some letters and notes that have been found, and that kind of point to maybe possibly him possibly having some form of a relationship with an inmate in jail, um, and the guy wasn't. Let's be honest, the guy wasn't really right in the head to begin with. Um, he had every opportunity to succeed in his NFL career, and the guy just blew it. He basically wanted to be involved in the street gangs instead of doing his job. So, I mean, I feel bad for his fiance. I feel bad for his whole family and his daughter, because his daughter is going to have to grow up, basically knowing what her father, had done. So, um, but that's kind of where the NFL is right now. So yeah, I feel like sports is kind of at a high point right now. I think that a lot of different things are going on that are good. And We still don't know anything about the Floyd Money Mayweather and Conor McGregor thing. We don't really know if that's happening yet or not. And So yeah, I just want to leave it with that. I think that we've had a great few months in sports, and I think it's going to get better as time goes on. So